I just learned about this yesterday. I looked into it a little more today.
Oh, I want to hear it.
But it's pretty funny, dude. It's like our first episode, kind of. I don't know if you heard about this. Snow White.
Snow White.
Yeah.
No, I don't. What?
Getting canceled.
She got canceled.
She didn't get canceled, but apparently what's gonna happen is they're going to remove that scene where the prince kisses Snow White because she didn't consent.
No way.
That's the argument. Yes.
No way.
And they also closed down the ride at Disneyland.
No way.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. No, that's not true.
I'm serious, dude.
No, they didn't. They didn't close it down. Snow White?
Yeah.
They revamped it, dude. You have like 45...
Yeah, because they're gonna take that thing off, right?
No, they already did it. It's like everything's like hologram and shit like that.
Okay, well, yeah, but in the movie itself, they're gonna remove that scene where the prince kisses Snow White. That's what they're.
But that's like a Prince Charming thing. Like she didn't consent, but it's like that's what he's.
But bro,
wasn't
she dead in the first place, or he thought she was dead?
Yeah.
So if you see a loved one dead, I've kissed my loved ones that I have passed. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I kiss them in the cheek. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
I can't do that, dude.
Or like
I understand.
I touch their face or their hand or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like a myth, like a Latin American myth, like where you have to touch them or else you'll feel like. My parents say that you have to touch the dead, or else they'll so they can rest in peace. That's what they said, or else you'll feel like scared and shit.
Dead people are the last people I want to see. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah,
but
so technically. Snow White was dead. That's what that's the whole. It's a fairy tale, obviously, and the prince comes and kisses her, and then she fucking comes back to life, and then now he's getting canceled for that.
Well, it's because he kissed her without consenting, dude.
But it's like, dude,
I told you the story. That's the thing, though. I think it's
a story. Exactly.
Art differs from reality, though. That's the biggest thing that people are not comprehending. That art differs from reality. Art is supposed to push your imagination to a point where you either think about it or it's just supposed to be like he kissed her. It's supposed to be like a love story, and he woke up because she felt the love. Because like you can spin it any way you want. Like she felt the love and now she's like alive because he kissed her and he actually saved her. Yeah. And it's not about it. Kind of is
like
about consent because
like you said, it's like a story. It's art,
Yeah.
So it can go like we can say, she was probably pimping the dwarves.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's cancel the dwarves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, we can say a lot of shit about that.
Random shit, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Like I said, why does she have to be white? Why is it Snow White? Sounds like cocaine. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, we can go, but it's like, dude, why? Like, it just fucking, I can't fathom. Like, why do we still worry? Like,
because we're in a cycle right now in which back in the day, so we're in the democratic cycle of canceling. About maybe 20 years ago, we were in the Republican cycle of canceling, right? They try to cancel all these artists from like rapping and shit like that, like NWA, all this stuff. Eminem was trying to get, like, they were trying to censor him and shit like that. So we're just in the run around of like these people who believe they are woke, now it's like, and now the Republicans are like, oh, let everybody say whatever they want.
But it's like you said, it's like it becomes hypocritical.
It's like, let everybody say whatever they want, except if they say something against us. And it's like, okay, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you either want everybody to say everything or not. You either understand that it's art or it's not. Yeah, of course, like, sometimes there's art that crosses a line, Right. But it's like, what I think Ricky Gervais says is, what is the intention? Like, what is the intent of the art? Yeah. Is the intent of the art to make you uncomfortable? Yeah. Is the intent of the art to make you think? Right. Is the intent of the art just to be like, well, I'm a pervert and I'm just showing you that I'm a pervert kind of thing? Like, the intention is going to be a huge impact. If the intention was like, I want to harm people, then of course, like, that's not a good intention. Yeah. But if you're if you make a movie about, I don't know, let's say you make a movie about, I don't know, like whatever topic. Let's say you make a movie about the fucking pollution, right? Yeah. Like, are you trying to harm, like, well, all these people who work in mines and stuff like that are gonna lose their jobs because they're polluting the but that's not my intention. I don't want anybody to lose their jobs. Yeah. I just want to inform you of what's happening. Right. Like, my intention is not to, like, like make everybody lose jobs. My intention is to inform you of what's happening.
Right.
You know, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like, what is the intention of the art? The intention of Snow White, from what I remember, is, you know, she needs to find her Prince Charming, and the Prince Charming finds her, and she's asleep or whatever, or she's dead. I don't know.
Right.
Gives her a kiss, and then she comes back. She comes back to life, right? I can't remember. She comes back to life, and it's like that's like the
because
whole
he kisses
purpose.
her.
Because he kisses her.
So he saves her life, bro.
He saves her life, and that's the thing. Like he kisses her, he saves her life. And I guess you can be like, well, why does a man have to say that? Okay, dude. Well, this is like, you know, like, well, now we can nitpick anything.
Exactly. That's what I, you know, that's my issue. Like, everything's getting nitpicked. Like, at this point, everything can get canceled. Literally, it's kind of like a phrase that says like about the police, like, find me the person and I'll find you the crime. And that was a famous phrase for the KGB, like in Russia, like during the Soviet Union. It says, find me the man and I'll find you the crime, to take that man to jail.
Right.
And it's the same thing right now going on with this, you know. I can go home and watch any movie, like cartoon movie, and Disney, and say, you know what? That's offensive. I need that shit canceled right now. You know?
Or let's say like somebody, I don't know, let's just say like I don't know, a very harsh example would be like, let's say somebody dies in the morning, like some family member, like, you know, from Mexico or Argentina or whatever, dies in the morning. And somebody says good morning to you. Like, that's offensive, bro. It's not a good morning to me. Yeah. Like, why are you saying good morning? Do you know what I mean? Like, anything could be offensive, subjective, depending on what you see and what you believe.
Right. You know? But you know what? Like,
and it's like, that's where you say, well, was the intention for that person to tell you good morning and make you feel like shit? No, dude. No, it was just normal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, well, but you can be like, well, fuck you, man. My
grandma just died.
My grandma just died. Yeah. Fucking bastard.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? And
but I think what I find more, like, not interesting, but like fucking mind blowing is that like we're nitpicking like this little shit here and there because, and I think like this solely happens in the social media world. Like if you talk to somebody right now, like in person, most people are gonna think that's like it's stupid, or they're not even gonna be aware of what's going on. You know what I mean? But I think what I found like fascinating is that we focusing on things like this right now when there's like I can go on my phone and find like fucking issues that are going on that I'm pretty sure you've seen too. You know, like what's going on in Colombia, what's going on in Brazil, in Taiwan,
in India, people dying
in Ukraine, in India, and it's like, well, there's women dying there too. Yeah. You know? And it's like, why? And America is so comfortable. Well, people in America especially, they're so comfortable that they have the time to actually sit there and complain about this shit while people are dying and getting fucking.
I don't think it's that.
I think it's fascinating how that's going on though. How we're focusing on this.
There's so much shit going on, and we focus on these little ridiculous shit. That like as a world, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's.
And we label it as a struggle, as a like something that
this is the struggle.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, like, dude, people in fucking Syria will like laugh at you. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. It's because it's not that people don't know. Is that people think that literally the world is just the U.S.
Yeah.
Like there's legitimate people who think like the world is U.S. Like you can be watching news about like India and how the COVID cases are. Like, dude, I watched some news. I was like, bro, what the hell is going on?
Dude, it's fucking
and people
crazy.
are just like dying, and then they're just taking people. Like literally, like they have to
in
take
the streets. They're like people in the streets are dead.
Just dead, exactly, right? And then there's people here who are like, well, that's fake, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it can't be that bad. It's not happening here. Yeah, but here's the issue, right? Like I talked to my cousin today. The biggest issue is that in the United States we have a bunch of vaccines because luckily. We have all this money and we made all these deals in the beginning and where we're able to buy all the vaccines we can. And now people are getting vaccinated. And they're like, well, you see the numbers are going down. Well, yeah, dude. When people are getting vaccinated, it's going to go down. It's just science. It's not like it's fake. It's legitimate science, right?
Yeah.
But then I go, well, in Argentina, it's not. The cases are going up.
Yeah.
And why? You know what I mean? It's not fucking fake, dude. It's because... We believe that we thought the pandemic was gonna be over once the vaccines came out. And it's like, bro, the whole world is going through it. Yeah, it may be over here, but you can't travel anywhere.
The Americans live in a bubble.
Yeah, like we can't travel anywhere. Yeah, dude. Like, you think everything is like, dude, that's the point that I made to my cousin. I said, the problem is that we're so tribal, right? That we tend to live in like, we're going to be Americans, right? And we're Americans and we need the vaccine.
Yeah.
And the pandemic's going to be done when we get the vaccine. It's like, bro, but there's fucking humans in India dying left and right. People in Argentina dying left and right. And it's like, what happens? Like, do you fucking forget? No, it's like, the issue is like, we're mixing everybody, like Americans, Canadians, Mexicans, and it's like, we're all human, dude.
Yeah.
Like, all we're really doing is just trying to save ourselves, and then we can't really do anything. And in reality, if you wanted the economy to open fully, like all the conservatives are saying, you would want shit to happen and open up from all over the world. So what should you do? And the biggest thing that people were saying was, let everybody have the pants to the vaccine. Dude, my cousin, he brought this up to me. I was like, dude, that shit makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what the hell. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
The people who made the Pfizer vaccine, why don't they just tell every lab how to make the fucking vaccine?
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, that makes...
Yeah.
We would get out of this... Like, dude, if you told every medical lab all over the world how to make that exact vaccine, dude, we would be out of... Within the next fucking, I don't know how many days.
Yeah.
We'd be like, all right, man,
but this
let's
is
go.
the perfect way. I mean, fuck, I forgot who called it. It's part of imperialism.
Yeah.
Because what's going on right now? The U.S. is slowly getting out of the pandemic. We got the vaccines. What's going to happen? The economy is going to keep growing. The U.S. is going to grow as a country.
Yeah.
Well, everybody gets left behind. You know what I mean? It's like the U.S. is running and everybody's running, and then the U.S. trips everybody. You know? And then he gets up and keeps running, and then everybody's just fucking behind, trying to get back up. You know what I mean?
And there's people who are like, nah, they shouldn't, like, Biden was like, I think we should open the pans, meaning that everybody should know how to make these vaccines. That's literally what it means. Like, teach everybody how to make the vaccines. And there's people who are like, nah.
That's
like, what the fuck?
It's money, dude. Yeah. And then, like I said, it's just the U.S. trying to get ahead of everybody again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, honestly, I don't know how you can be pro-life and not be like, people should have healthcare.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, you're Ben Shapiro, be like, I'm pro-life, and then be like, but should people have healthcare? Nah.
Oh, that's
it's like, how does that not, like, how does your logic add up, dude?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And he'll give you like this whole excuse about how, well, healthcare is a privilege and stuff. So you're not pro-life. Like, if somebody's dying and they don't have healthcare, you think they should die?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, he'll give you another whole explanation about how, and he'll make you sound all like stupid and all that stuff, and be like, well, you're not answering my question, dude.
Yeah.
Like, should that person die because they don't have healthcare? And it's like, if your answer is ever, that's what they get for not working hard enough, then you're not pro-life, dude. I don't give a fuck what you say. Like, I just don't. I don't, dude. Like, don't come over here telling me like abortions are bad when you're like, well, that guy should have worked harder. That's why he's on the street.
Yeah.
Like, you're not pro-life. You're just pro. I should just be able to do myself whatever I want, which is fine, dude.
Yeah. And I think this, like I said, this just shows how much privilege Americans have, just being Americans. That they don't have to worry about dying. They don't have to be worried about fucking Russia invading their country or fucking all this shit that's going on. Like, no, we're gonna worry about
or Disney's you can be
fucking
privileged.
Snow White.
You know, be privileged and be like, yeah, this is fake. Like, this is an attack on us. Like, fucking people from India are dying. What the hell do they have to do with Trump?
Yeah.
What do the people in India have to do with Trump? Dude?
Yeah.
People like that's the dude. It blows my mind.
Yeah. But
honestly, dude, I don't get it. Like, it's fine. Believe whatever you want. Like, that's cool. Whatever. Yeah. But I don't get what your thinking is. Like, why? Like, telling people like why you weren't, dude. Look, David Pakman said this. People on the right are like, oh, you're wearing a mask. You look like a dumbass. All this shit. Okay, whatever, dude. Yeah. Fine. Think like that, right? But you wouldn't go to somebody you wouldn't go to somebody who's like, it's like 100 degrees and they're wearing a sweater. You'd be like, you just think to yourself like, well, that guy's a fucking maniac. And then you just keep moving on with your life, dude.
Yeah.
You're not like, hey, fucker, take off your fucking sweater, you dumb piece of shit.
And it's only here, dude, because it becomes like that shit became so political, dude. It's like a political statement now. Yeah. Like, I'm a Democrat.
A lot of them though. In Argentina, it's happening a lot too.
And I've noticed that, you know, like the younger generation, obviously, but because I caught my sister doing this. Like, we're driving by and like this guy had his mask like halfway down, and she's like, "Oh, look at that guy trying to be funny, like not putting out." I was like, "Dude," relax.
Yeah.
What's wrong? He's like, well, he's not wearing his mask, right? And he's supposed.
Yeah.
And what does that affect you?
Yeah.
Just let him be. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't fall into this woke trap.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna kill you. It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna kill anybody just because he has a mask like that. I told her it's become a political statement, and they target people like you who are young and vulnerable and think that it is like if you wear a mask, you're a righteous person.
I think the point though is like, if you're gonna wear the mask, wear it right. Like that's it. Like that's it. Wear it right, dude. Like wear the mask.
Yeah.
Or else, like, you're just like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. But it's not like...
I'm not going to tell anybody anything. Like,
exactly.
I've never went to the store and be like, dude, put on your mask. I saw somebody not even wearing a mask, and I just kept walking like, what the fuck? What do you want me to do? Like, that guy's going to do whatever he wants to do. You
exactly,
know what I mean?
dude.
Like, I don't know. I feel like you should do what's right. I feel like you should personally do what's right. But it's also like, what are you going to do, dude?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can't go and beat them up.
It's a balance. Like, that's the thing. It's like a balance. Like, you just try to teach people.
Yeah.
I feel really upset when they go, well, this is fake. And it's like,
but, and it goes back to what you were saying about hypocrisy. Because it's like, you're going to go up there and tell the guy, like, oh, you know, wear your mask or you're a bad person, you know? And then
you go driving, texting while you
exactly.
crash
or
into
you're
somebody
using a fucking iPhone, you know, that was fucking made by child slavery or whatever.
What is right and what is wrong?
Exactly. That's what I mean, dude.
It's ambiguous.
It's just like, dude, just let people be, you know. Don't be a dick. Let people be. But, yeah, that's why I just wanted to bring it up because I just thought, like, damn, I remember, like, Pepe Le Pew was just, like, a few months ago, him getting canceled, and Snow White. Like, you would never think Snow White. Mm-hmm. But then again, I mean, there's probably movies that we watched when we were kids and we never thought that, like, probably Toy Story's next or fucking Lion King or something. I don't know. Like I said, just find me the movie and I'll find you the fucking cancellation, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the thing, too, is like now it's how everything is about. Now it's like everything's about either canceling people or about race. Like, that's literally the two things.
Yeah.
Like, so-and-so said this, let's cancel him. So-and-so, this happened.
Why does he have to be a prince?
About race.
Why can't he be a
king?
Yeah.
Why can't it be a tribal leader?
Or
an Aztec warrior? a binary.
Yeah.
He.
Bigender.
They. Why can't it be a
transsexual? It.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They.
Yeah, whatever. Why does it have to be a man?
All right. Are we good for another topic?
Yeah.
We good for another topic?
Yeah. Snow White Lives Matters.
Snow White. I have a question legitimately here. What in your mind? Do you have another question or are we good?
No, we're good.
We're good? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to hold this for?
No, keep going.
Okay, so we're having a huge debate in the school circle. What is diversity in your mind?
Diversity?
Yeah, like when somebody says we need to be more diverse.
I think diversity ultimately comes down to looking at things or taking things into consideration by using different lenses. Mm-hmm. By lenses, I mean different perspectives.
Does that mean you
cultural perspective, race perspective, gender perspective, and by gender I mean men and women. You know, not the other 10 genders. So you have to I'm just kidding. But LGBTQ now too. You know, so you have to look at all that. Like I said. Just taking in consideration every perspective and every lens, you know. Just taking into consideration, though.
Does every lens now mean that you should not take into consideration what was quote unquote in charge before? That's my biggest issue, in the sense of like, is diversity not saying like, well, let's make sure we have all these races, just not the one that used to be in charge. Wouldn't that be like the opposite of diversity? Wouldn't you want those people in your circle?
Yeah.
Just to understand? That's kind of my whole thing is like, in my mind, okay, the best way I can explain it to you is like this. Hollywood for a long time was not diverse, right?
Right.
A lot of fucking white people.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Okay? So what happens? People try to make solutions. And they say, well, we're making a diverse movie. We're making a diverse...
They'll have a token.
You know what I mean? Like,
they started with tokens.
So then people... become extremely successful. Tyler Perry, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Are his movies diverse? If you watch the movie, if somebody who came from another country or another planet and knew the definition of diverse and watched Tyler Perry's movie, would that be diverse?
Isn't his movies like all black people? I mean,
would that be the definition of diverse?
I don't know because
solely that movie though. I'm talking about solely that movie. Would that be the definition of diverse? If it's all,
I mean, that people, movie, I don't think it would be diverse.
Right.
You know
That's my point. My point is that in the macro, in the big picture, Tyler Perry makes Hollywood diverse.
Yeah.
Because in the big picture,
in the big picture,
he adds people of color to his movie, black people, minorities, whatever you want to call them, right?
Right.
But in the micro, meaning in the small, if I only watch his movie's not diverse at all. He's actually doing the opposite.
Yeah.
He's doing exactly what the white people did, but in his movie.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying I'm not saying exactly because he's not like telling people that they can't join his movie, but he focuses on
black actors.
So in that micro, definition of diversity, that's not diverse. In the macro, it is because now he's including all these African Americans, blacks into Hollywood because now they're in his movies and all that stuff. But that's where I find an extremely big issue. Wouldn't your goal? I understand that for the longest time, white people have been in charge. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to eliminate the facts. The facts are the facts.
Yeah.
White people had slaves. They fucking were their masters, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's the fact. You can't come over here and tell me that the United States wasn't racist in the beginning. You can debate it now if it's still racist. Feel free. We can debate it all you want. But you can't be like, America was not built on fucking racism. It was. You can't come over here and debate me. Like, that's just the fact.
Yeah.
But my question is, like, if you want to make something extremely diverse, wouldn't you want everybody of every race to be in your movie? People who were minorities, people who were Asian and black and Hispanic and white. If you eliminate white, that you're just attacking the way that they attacked. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that's the right approach. I feel the approach should be, look, I know you fucked up, but I'm not gonna fuck up the same way you did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna exclude you because you excluded us. I think that's the issue. Like, the thing, the defense is the attack and the opposite. And I don't think that's the solution.
Yeah.
You don't go, I don't know. That's like an eye for an eye. Everybody's like, dude, that's fucking crazy. Why would you do that?
It's kind of like Charlemagne's new iHeart station for podcast, The Black Effect. Something like that. I think it's just like black artists, black podcasters.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think
which is cool. In the big picture, it's cool because he's adding into the podcast.
So like in Hollywood as a whole, Tyler Perry's cool because, I mean, I think his movie is not diverse, but like you said, as a whole, it is, and it adds to the diversity of Hollywood. Like if you want to watch a black film, then you go and watch that, and it's like, but I think so that's like something that you only see, not that you only see, but that you see most commonly in America, because like in Latin America, like in Mexico, I mean, the networks have been also how do you call it?
Is there racism in Mexico though?
Yeah, there is, but it's more
it's more classism, isn't it though?
No, it's racism,
but specifically to the indigenous
and the black community, because there is black community in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just more ambiguous, I guess you can say, because it's not like right here, like in Mexico, they didn't have slaves like that, and things like that. But there's still been a discrimination towards indigenous, towards it's like if you're dark skinned in Mexico, you're probably not in a good position. You're probably gonna be discriminated against.
Really?
Yeah, like it's more open. The racism is more open, so it's become more normalized. But we don't see it as a like.
But is that based off classism though? Because like the darker you are, it's not necessarily the like how do I explain it? Doesn't mean that you came from Africa. It just means that you worked in the fields, and that's why your family has, through the long time, become darker.
No, but I mean, right here maybe. Too. Like it was classism at once too. Racism and classism would go hand in hand. After racism, who was at the lower end? The black people, right?
Yeah.
And minorities.
As a result.
Yeah. But in Mexico, it's like if you watch like the novelas, the soap operas, like, and I remember like from the 90s when I would watch them with my mom and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the actors were mainly light skinned, white, like almost like an American typo. You know what I mean? Like light skin, almost like a blonde, blue eyes, things like that. Yeah. And the maid, it was always the dark skinned lady.
Yeah.
Or the indigenous lady. It was always like that. And you know, it's starting to change little by little, but and then you would see the news and it was all white people, like all light skinned people, you know? And then like the dark skinned people were always looked down upon.
But
it's like the racism's been internalized in Mexico, so it's more open now. Like if I go to a taco stand, like my skin color is pretty dark. So if I go to a taco stand or just anywhere in Mexico, they're gonna be like, "¿Qué onda, mi negro?" Like if you say that here to like, that's like, you're gonna be like, "Dude, you're racist." But over there's like, oh, it's like.
But we're getting into a different topic though, because it's not a different race. You're not a different race because you're darker though, dude.
No, I know, but
that's you. I feel like with the topic that you're talking about has a little more to do with classism in the sense of like, so in Japan, for example, right? I don't know if you know, but like I read a couple of stories. I don't know if the stories are true necessarily, but do you know like the women would put like that, like what do they call the geisha women? Yeah. They would put like the super white makeup on, right? And from what I understood in a couple of readings, the reason is because they want to cover their darker skin, because the darker you were, that means that the less money you had. Yeah. Because you worked on the field and you got darker because you were always in the sun.
And then they would be sold to the rich.
Exactly. So the whiter you were, the more money you had, supposedly, right? Because you didn't work out in the field. Right. Because only the poor people worked out in the field. Yeah. But there's a difference between being from Africa and being, sold here through, and basically.
But in Mexico, there was an African community in Veracruz. Well, that's my question. In the north too, and then, like,
is that African or is that indigenous?
No, Africans.
They
Africans.
came from Africa.
Yeah, Africans.
A long ass time.
So it's a cool story from people from here.
Yeah.
I think prior to the Civil War, a lot of Africans fled from. And this is cool, like, if you study the border, like, the dynamics of the borderlands, like, how the borderlands are their own country in itself. Like, they don't abide by the rules of, like, the country. Like, the way of life of the borderlands is way different than, say, like...
Talking about, like, the super south borderland? Like, we're fucking, I don't know, what's the next country? Guatemala or Honduras?
No, like, Texas and...
Yeah, like, where the Juarez
and all that. Like, if you go from here to there, you'll be like, what the fuck, this is the United States? Like, it's way different, you know what I mean? Same thing, if you're in Mexico City and you go to Juarez, you'll be like, what the fuck, is it still Mexico? Like, it's way different, the life. Right. So, slaves flew from Texas to haciendas. In Mexico, they were called haciendas. Haciendas were, like, the people who were, like, super rich people. They would own like, ranches. Yeah. They would own, like, these huge houses where they would make mezcal, tequila. They would pretty much have plantations. So, they went over there to work. Because they were like, well, we don't want to be slaves here. We want to go over there. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, they were getting paid, but they were getting paid shitty. Yeah, exactly. The conditions weren't that much better. So a lot of them ended up coming back. A lot of them ended up staying. And I'm talking about like legit slaves that were from here. They went over there, and then they dispersed throughout Mexico. Like a lot of them arrived at the ports with the Spanish, and they stayed there. That's why Veracruz is a lot of people from Veracruz are really dark skinned. And so a lot of the Mexican dark skin descend from African Americans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting to. And then indigenous, right. Indigenous, they've always, been dark.
Like, indigenous is historically dark. That is a different race because they came from Spain.
Yeah, and there's a race, I forgot the name of the race, but it's indigenous, but they derive from the Africans.
Wow.
I forgot the
Olmecs? No, you're not talking about
No,
that's way.
No, it's much more than that. And that tribe has been historically marginalized to this day, not even recognized by the Mexican government. Because they're black. Dude, so like I said, it's racism in Mexico, a lot of it. But it's just more.
I don't know.
I'm gonna send you a documentary. It's called let me look it up.
I just don't know if when you said when you said what they would call you, because in Argentina they do that too, but that's not necessarily racist.
Yeah,
it's more like in the sense of like love, like, oh, what's up, cómo está mi negro? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like racist, right? Where here it is racist. Or for example, when Cavani got in trouble, and people came out and was like, dude, that fool's not racist. That fool was calling his friend that. And it's a different culture, and actually you're being racist towards our culture, and it was like a big what the hell just happened?
So the documentary is called Nana Dijo. It's by Boca Floja. So it's about black consciousness, and he fights anti-blackness throughout Latin America.
Dude.
So it's like in Mexico, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Colombia, like wherever there's a black community, like he talks about that. And that documentary is pretty cool. It's probably like an hour long, but it's pretty informative.
Dude. I don't know, man. It's just like diversity.
Back to what you were saying, to diversity. I mean, I think, to your point where you were saying about Tyler Perry, it's tricky because I think just in itself, the African American community has, I mean, we've all known they've gone through like
a bunch of shit.
Yeah. So they're trying to, in a way, solidify their culture.
Yes.
For the time they've been, for the time that they lost being marginalized and discriminated and harassed.
Yeah.
And they're trying to solidify their culture. I don't see it as they do it maliciously, because they don't look down on the white people like, oh, we don't want you in our movie because
because you're white,
because you suck, or because you're white,
or because you're stupid.
He's like, we just want to make a all black movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Why? Because we want to attract the all black audience. Yeah. So it becomes part of that culture. You know what I mean? It's like
I see what you mean. It's more like the intent is not to leave white people out, but rather the intent is to just because of all the stuff that they went through, it's like, well, I want to just build our culture and improve
solidify our
culture.
And
I think that goes back to the intent from the beginning, like we talked about in the beginning. Is like, what is the intent of Tyler Perry? I'm not saying that Tyler Perry is doing a horrible thing. That's not what I'm saying. My point is, what is diversity in reality? Like, is diversity that you like? At schools for right now, for example, they're talking about like, well, you need to read more stuff that's diverse, right? Yeah. Well, does that mean that we shouldn't read anything that a white person ever wrote? Yeah. And that's kind of my issue. Is like, no, they still need to learn the facts. Yeah. They still need to learn the facts. It's the same thing that the other people, like the conservatives, are talking about, like that 1619 project or whatever that they think is like race theory or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, whatever you may think, but the kids need to learn the facts. Yeah. The kids need to learn that there was slavery back then. Like, that's not something that you can't, white people literally said, well, there's a lot of white people who said like, well, this is what God wants us to do and kind of shit like that. Yeah. And it's like, you got to tell them the truth, dude. Yeah. And
but I've been hearing about this diversity in school. I mean, I didn't really realize it till I was in school and I took an African history course. Yeah. And the teacher pointed it out. She was like, oh, well, there's not enough African American studies throughout like the school system. Like, look back, how many classes have you taken about, or how much have you learned about Africa? And I was like, damn, I just remember I just know Africa is like, Africa is like a huge continent where the slaves come from, and that's it. Yeah. She's like, exactly. And that's from that point on, when you say Africa, you've already internalized the marginalization of the African people. Because Africa is a continent. It's not even a country. Yeah. And if you like, and I've noticed that whenever I speak to somebody and they mention Africa, and I'm like, okay, dude, but what country are you talking about? Oh, well, in Africa, dude, Africa is like 2 times the U.S. Yeah. There's like a lot of countries, and a lot of people don't know that. Right. They think it's just one fucking huge country, and that's already a problem, because you start thinking that as like, it doesn't matter if it's just a continent. Like, nobody says, oh, Latin America or North America. Yeah. They say the U.S., Mexico, Canada, whatever. And I
don't know, man. I just think kids need to be fucking taught the facts. Yeah. Like,
but I think they should be more diversity. Like I said, teach them more African, like about African culture, African history. That's not Black history.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I say there should be more diversity, but that does not mean you eliminate one. That means you add.
Yeah, you add. Okay, yeah. I mean, eliminate. That's what I thought you were saying the whole time.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't eliminate. You add. You add. Like, you don't go, well, now we're just gonna show you all minority writers. Like, no, you want to add. We're gonna still show you, what the people who were white were saying, but we're also gonna show you now what the minorities were saying. It's not like we're not gonna show you this anymore. We're only gonna show you this. Right. That's my problem. It's not to take away. It's to add. It's to understand that these are the facts. Yeah. And that's my biggest thing is like, people are like trying to like, look, it's okay to say that the country made a lot of mistakes. Like, you can't,
But you have to recognize those mistakes first, and that's the problem with America. It hasn't even recognized the mistakes.
We're teaching kids to hate. No, we're not teaching kids to hate. We're just teaching them the facts. They decide to hate or not.
It's like when Trump said we need to teach them real American history.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what the fuck are we teaching? Are we not teaching them fake American history?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that's my whole thing. Is like they need to be more, and there needs to be more stuff, not less stuff.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like, well, we don't want them to. Okay. We don't want them to learn about Thomas Jefferson. No, we do want them to learn about Thomas Jefferson. But we also want them to read about the slaves he had and maybe the writings that his own slaves did.
So I think it's like we want you to learn about Thomas Jefferson. That's all we've ever known, that he was one of the founding fathers.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But we also want to add that he owned slaves. And that he raped slaves.
Yeah, and then we want to add the stories that the slaves
he had wrote children with slaves.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
and
the
then
whole
enslaved
thing.
them himself. We want them to know the whole story, not just the
exactly
the good.
Yeah, and it's not like okay, this is the point. So it's like we want them to know Thomas Jefferson was our founding father. Perfect. That's what we've been taught.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson, right? Good. We want to add diversity. Perfect. Teach them that Thomas Jefferson was one of the founding fathers, but also add with the writings of his slaves, the writings of the slaves' kids, the writings of so that's adding diversity. Don't just be like, look at all the stuff that the slaves wrote about Thomas Jefferson, because now you're taking away his side of the story.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's like the kids need to decide what is the correct side of the story.
Right.
You don't need to tell them, dude.
Right.
People need to decide on their own. And that's the whole thing. Is like people need to decide if they think they're anti-maskers, whatever, dude. But they at least got to decide on their own. Yeah. The issue is that my problem is that you're giving them false information.
Yeah.
Let them decide with real information.
I think we're at this point in history where it's like, I mean, the study of history, it's only like not even that old, but we're at this point where like history has been historically Eurocentric and Americanized at this point. Yeah. And we're getting to this point where like, okay, let's make it more diverse, but now we're doing the opposite.
Yeah, that's
so we're like, okay, fuck that. We're gonna ignore because they did it for so many years, we learned their way. Mm-hmm. So fuck that. We're gonna switch our way. Instead of saying, you know what, we're gonna add. So I think it's like a transition point, We're like we're in this conflict. We're in this conflict. Yeah. We're like kind of like we're trying to say, fuck everything they said, and we're gonna ignore that right now. We're gonna put it aside for right now. We're gonna put it on hold, and we're gonna teach you guys the other side, rather than we're gonna incorporate everything as a whole.
That's the biggest thing. Like I'm super conflicted with like Christopher Columbus, right?
Yeah.
Like that's that is exactly the point, dude. It's like you are conflicted. Yeah. Like that's the point. That's history. To be conflicted. To be able to say that he fucked up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And he fucked up a lot of people.
Yeah.
But to also be like, but he also, allowed Europe to expand and basically what I'm living here, it has a lot to do with him.
Yeah. He pretty much helped create an international trade route.
And that's the thing, is like what I'm benefiting off of, it has something to do with him. But I'm also like, well, I still think he messed up. He could have done it a different way. But I'm also talking much later in history where I'm judging based off of what I believe.
But you know what, dude? I mean, now that I look back at it, maybe in elementary and middle school and high school, you only learn about like history like in the general way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how we're saying it.
But that's
maybe kids don't care that much. Maybe some do.
Yeah.
But when you get to like college and university, you actually go more into that.
Yeah. You
learn like I don't want to say real history.
Yeah.
But you learn about the ambiguosity of history.
Yeah.
That's a big word, dude.
Yeah.
You learn about how it's hard to say that was the right and wrong. It's hard to say Christopher Columbus was the good guy. Was he the good guy or the bad guy? Was Thomas Jefferson the good guy or the bad guy? So you start challenging these ideas that...
Or was he both? Fuck,
exactly.
God damn it, dude.
So that you've learned throughout, elementary, middle school, and high school. You learn about the Holocaust. You like who was the good, who were the bad, like just everything, every historical event, historical character, and you start like looking at
it's just
both sides, at both perspectives, and that's why I even like more history even more when I started learning that, because I was like, fuck, well, I never thought about it this way, you know, like how Martin Luther King was just the face of the
in reality he was like
of the civil rights movement, but he didn't really do much. He was just the face of it.
And in reality, he wasn't even like one of the main speakers.
Exactly. The people in the trenches were the real, ones behind, like the ones that built the entire thing. Of course, Martin Luther King did a lot of things, but not as much as the other people who we don't even know their names. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and you know, like that's crazy, dude, because they're actually teaching that like Martin Luther King, basically he was like another speaker, like random speaker, but he did this like such a great speech that everybody was like, wow.
And you know why he was the face of the movement? Because he was approved by the people in power, who were the white men.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy?
They weren't gonna let a radical like Malcolm X be in the forefront, or like Huey Newton be in the forefront. No, because
they weren't accepted.
Exactly, they would be too radical. Like we want to give you your civil rights, but at our own pace.
Even then, there was people who criticized Martin Luther King. It's like funny how everybody's like, look what, like now, like the protests, like look what Martin Luther King did. You know, like the conservatives are like that. Yeah, dude, but there's a bunch of these like cartoons of him and how they hated him, and it's like, well, and you know, and his family comes out and is like, well, my son, my dad was doing peaceful stuff and he still was hated. Yeah. So it's like, no matter what, it's like, don't come over here trying to defend everything now. Yeah. It's like, dude, that's the issue. It's like, we can never just decide. Like, we can't just be like, man, he was both, man. Yeah. I'm sorry to tell you, but
that's what I'm saying, you know, about history. Like, and then you learn about like Osama bin Laden and how he worked for the CIA, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? And like how Al Qaeda was trained by the U.S. forces, like legit trained by the U.S. forces and Guatemalan ground. And dude, like the Mujahideen were also trained by the U.S. and then they become the ISIS was trained and funded by the U.S. And it's like you start learning all this shit and you're like, damn, I thought we were the good guys. You know what I mean?
And that's the problem, is that the more you learn, that's why there's a lot of Republicans who are like, well, they went to college, you know, like they went to college and that's why they hate America. Yeah. And it's like, well, not necessarily. They went to college and they just learned stuff.
They learn.
And it's like the facts just happen to be that a lot of things are messed up. But even within itself, it's like, well, not everything is messed up.
And it's not that we hate America. It's not that, and I say we because I see the, you know, America as it is because of the history. But it's not that we hate America. We hate the people in charge, the people who have been in charge. Yeah. And it's like Immortal Technique says in one of the songs that is just a cappella, like he's just talking like if he's the president and he's giving out a speech. He's like, I love America. I just hate the people who run this country. Right. But the people who make this country run is the people I love, which is us. Right. You know what I mean? And that's the fact of the matter. But these people, what do they do to make it look like the bad guy, like the communist, like the hippie, like you know, the anti-American? They say, oh, well, now he hates America. He went to college and he hates America. Yeah. You know, and it's like, no, dude, I hate you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think history is when you're like in a lower, like in a, how do you say it? Like the lower grades, like elementary, middle school. In grade school, when you're in grade school, a lot of the times you don't really care. You know, you just like focused on the date, like the dates, like the key events.
And then whatever your parents tell you after watching Telemundo. Or
whatever. And if you become more interested, well, then you read, you learn more. Do you have more access now? You have YouTube. Back then, we wanted to learn more. We had to go and fucking check out an encyclopedia, dude.
You know, it's crazy. No, it's crazy because talking about reading, dude. I was watching. Remember you told me about Asesino on the thing? Dude? Yeah. It was crazy, dude, because he actually talked. Like he asked, Roberto asked him a question. And it's like, which rap do you think is like, which region do you think is the best? And like, or how do you find like Spain, you know, the Spanish rappers more like different from other rappers and things like that? And it was crazy, dude, because he like had like an answer already. He's like, you know, honestly, the issue is that in Spain there's a higher average of the amount of books that kids read. Like the nationwide average of the amount of books that kids read is a lot more in Spain. So when you listen to the Spanish rappers, they have a lot more vocabulary because they read a lot more.
Fuck.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it's true because I'd be watching, you know, like I know a lot of Spanish, don't get me wrong, but I'd be watching Spain's rap, like, and I'd be like, what the fuck did he just say, dude? You know, and he said everything in Spanish. Like, I understood the words. Like, I can tell you what he said, but I wouldn't be able to tell you how, like, to understand it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, a lot of times it has to do with the lack of knowledge. Right? Not necessarily, because now you don't have to read. You can listen to books. You can do all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like the lack of knowledge within people makes you fall into a trap to listen to specific types of people. And that's why I'm super interested in, I was talking about in the beginning, I'm super interested in how people become what they become and try to, basically, you're just trying to manipulate people.
Right.
Like, that's all you're doing, right? Like, you're just trying to manipulate people to fall into whatever you believe. But how do the people fall into that? Is it lack of knowledge? Is it whatever it is? And I think that's like the big issue, dude.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily love or hate America. You just start to learn more and you start to question it. Yeah. And when you question something, they think they think that that's attacking.
Exactly. It's like you can't question it because then that looks bad on them. Yeah. You know?
And I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's like that's the truth.
And this is, don't get me wrong, not only America, I've been learning about a lot, like focusing on a lot, like the history of Mexico. Yeah. And you look back at it and you're like, well, fuck. I mean, it's not as bad as America's because it's always been under America's shadow. Yeah. But the way the Mexico runs its country since fucking 1820, I mean, independence was 1810, but technically speaking, 1820. Dude, it's like, fuck, man. Like, it sucks, you know, especially when, like, it's your home country. Yeah. But it's like, that's the truth. Like, you can't do anything about it. But that's what one historian says, like, learn your history. Yeah. Because that's one of the only things that nobody can take away from you. That's crazy. Then once you do that, you'll be able to liberate yourself from being a ignorant nationalist. Mm-hmm. Or you're gonna really become a nationalist. Yeah, and it's true, you know.
It's crazy, dude, because like talking about like your home countries and you know your parents' home country and things like that. Like I just recently learned, maybe not recently, but like maybe a couple months ago, that Argentina was like the second. It was literally leveled with the U.S. in the sense of like rich countries. Argentina was, dude.
Really? In what year?
Like it wasn't that long ago. Like it wasn't that long ago, dude. And it was like extremely rich, dude. And literally, like the peso was the same cost as the dollar until like people in charge, again, corrupt people just started messing up, making bad decisions, doing all that stuff, and it just like slowly just.
But
boom,
I think,
and then bam.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was corrupt people, but they weren't being corrupt on their own. They were being corrupted by the U.S. The CIA got involved.
I don't know.
During the Evita Perón thing and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how much the CIA got involved because this is like I think maybe before.
The Americans just wanted to nullify any potential countries in Latin America, and that's all the way from Brazil.
Nullify as in like not want to make them strong, like they wanted to make them weak or what?
Yeah, like give them their independence, so to speak, but. And at a certain degree, it's like you can be independent, but you can outgrow us.
Didn't Joe Rogan talk about that? Like when I don't know, one of the like Syria or something, where like the U.S. got involved and then it actually made it worse. I don't know what they talked about recently. Lebanon?
No, Iraq.
Libya?
With Saddam Hussein.
Libya?
Well, it was Libya,
with
Iraq,
Gaddafi or whatever. Gaddafi, or whatever.
Yeah. Gaddafi, my bad. Yeah.
And he's like, they talked about how they got involved.
But also with Saddam Hussein. But yeah, with Gaddafi. And then, you know, you take out the guy who you put in power before, and then you create a power vacuum.
But you don't have a plan. That's the biggest issue. Is like, okay, you took this out, but what's your plan now?
But that's what I was talking about right now. Yeah. Like the U.S. funded Al Qaeda to overthrow Gaddafi, and then it didn't work. And then the U.S. got involved, took out Gaddafi, but now you have fucking trained military with fucking high. How do you call it? High-tech weaponry that you provided turned against you because they want you out of their fucking country now. Yeah. You know?
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's crazy how everything's connected.
Yeah, dude. Like, whatever's going on right now, like, you can trace it back to... Well, whatever's going on right now, you can trace it back to after World War.
Yeah.
World War One and World War Two is the best thing that could happen to the U.S., dude. World War Two was the best thing that can happen to the U.S.
Even before that, man, shit that's going on in the world right now is like shit. Like fucking in Israel.
I mean, the World War One and World War Two was just a buildup of fucking 300-400 years of fucking feuds in Europe.
Yeah,
that's why America's like, nah, fuck you guys. You guys got handle that shit. You know, we're staying out of it until America's like, you know what? There's probably
there's something going on.
There's something that we can get out of this.
That's crazy though, man. Think about like all the crazy stuff that like to be at a point where you can get manipulated by like Hitler, like someone like Hitler, where you're just like, yeah, fuck these people, let's kill them all. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
but that was also built.
Doesn't matter if you're a German. Yeah, like, it doesn't matter if you're a German Jew. Like,
but that was also a buildup of like, I want to say like previous 100 years of fucking.
Well, they blame Germany for all the shit that happened in World War One.
Well, that was the last straw. Yeah. But like it began since like before Friedrich Nietzsche, which like isn't that in like 1850. But like before that, you know, they started like, oh, the Jews, like little by little, you know.
Well, the Jews have been persecuted for a long time. Like they were also blamed at some point, like for the Black Death. Like they said that they was,
that it was the Jews,
some shit like that. But it's like it's crazy to be like at a point where you can get manipulated and be like, that's why we suck.
Well, that's why I said that was the last straw. That's why I said that whatever is going on right now, it's really dangerous and it sets a precedent for the future. Yeah, like having kids in cages in the border, and I mean, me and you think it's not right, but a lot of people think it's right.
Yeah, like they shouldn't.
But why do they think it's right? Because they're illegal, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we should dehumanize them.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts, and then it gets bigger.
You dehumanize people, and then
And then you start killing them because you say, oh,
they were really human.
Yeah, they weren't like they were here illegally. They committed a crime, so you know. And then we accept that, or other people accept that, and then it gets worse and worse.
But the issue I think here is that I don't know if that's gonna happen because it's so flip floppy.
Yeah,
it's so flip floppy, right? And what I mean by that is like the dehumanization has become basically like before it was the Democrats. Sorry, it was the Democrats defending the kids are in cages, they shouldn't be. Trump is doing all this stuff, and now it's like the opposite. Like the conservatives, like, oh, look at these people are left in these cages, and you know Biden is not doing it. Yeah, but just like 4 months ago, you were saying how Trump was doing a great job because he was keeping them in cages. It's not his job to make it better, and now it's like, oh, but now it's Biden's job to make it. So that's why I don't think it's necessarily going to happen because we're so flip floppy that basically it's like it's just based off of the president.
Right.
If the president becomes more dangerous than like in some people's eyes,
but like I said, maybe we get a Hitler in a couple of years, and then he says, "Well, they were already in cages, so what do you care?"
Yeah,
that's why I said it sets a dangerous precedent for the future. We don't know. Maybe they're just testing it out. We don't know. Maybe we're just reaching. It's a reaching right now, but like I said, we don't know. But it sets a dangerous precedent when you look back on history. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Same. That's why I said. I mean,
that's why people are fucked up, man. That's why there's no answer because
for the longest time, people are shit. Mortal Technique.
But like, for the longest time, revolution has been the answer to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. Like revolution every time. Right. Like basically, it's like a country gets set up, there's a revolution. A country gets set up, there's a revolution. But the issue is that I think J. Cole says it in one of his songs, something like maybe revolution isn't the answer because no matter what revolutions you make, people eventually become in power and they get corrupted.
Yeah.
Because people are just flawed. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
I was like, damn, dude. It's like, yeah, because maybe revolution isn't the answer. Maybe there has to be a different type of answer. And we just haven't found that answer. Yeah. You know? It's like, because think about all history, right? Basically, it's been like a country has set up, revolution.
Yeah.
You know, a country has been set up, revolution. Some shit happened, revolution. Some shit happened, French Revolution, American Revolution.
I mean, the French, how much? Yeah. I think there's like 3 or 4 fucking revolutions in France, dude.
The peasant revolution, the fucking, every revolution, you know? It's like, well, my dudes, revolutions aren't working, dude. Like, let's try to figure out another solution.
Like the Cubans, you know? Yeah. Like with Fidel Castro, he came in, overthrew Batista, and then
revolution,
he took over, and then
Batista, the dictator, which America was like okay with.
I think it's just
not okay with.
You know, power absorbs you. You know, just like overall, like.
You think so, or do you think just the wrong people have been in charge? Do you think? I mean, we're kind of going long here, but you would become corrupted if you got in power. You become the president tomorrow. Well, maybe not in the U.S. because it's kind of hard because there's a lot of checks and balances.
Not really.
I mean, in reality, there is a lot of checks and balances. You can hate it, but there is. But like in a country like, I don't know, Venezuela.
Yeah.
You'd be like fucking corrupted like Maduro.
I mean, I don't know, dude.
Or like
you don't know what Cuba goes on, you know, when you enter that system. You show
up in Cuba and you're just like the new Che and you fucking...
Because a lot of people have entered the system thinking, I'm going to change it, and then the system ends up changes them.
That literally happens every time. There's not one...
Get your microphone, dude.
Sorry. That literally happens every time.
And why do you think they took out Che Guevara, dude? Like, because
you thought that... You think he was the only one that was going to be like, nah, we just got to keep it going? I don't know, man.
No, because Fidel Castro, you know, he became corrupt in a way. Yeah. And he...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
he didn't want to continue the world revolution that they had planned. And Che Guevara said, you know, well, I'm going to keep it going. And then Fidel was like, well, you're on your own. Boom, and then that shit happened. And then CIA got involved. And I wouldn't doubt it that Fidel was involved in that shit, you know.
But that's the thing. Do you think in reality anybody would? Because there hasn't been... I mean, not from what I know. Maybe there has. But there hasn't been a leader that doesn't necessarily become corrupt or plays to what... Or even sticks to what they believe.
Right.
In that sense. Like, they get manipulated. I mean, we're going to take away, like, the Americas because of the fact that we had, like, these checks and balances. But maybe talking about, like, kingdoms, like, back in the day. Like, you know, in these countries where there's dictators. Yeah, exactly. Like, where there's dictators and stuff. It seems like it doesn't necessarily work. You know? Like it's just like a continuation cycle of revolution, like revolution. I'm gonna change it for the people. I'm gonna change it for the people. Yada yada yada. The people.
Well,
the people.
I think you mean revolutions do work.
They don't work.
No, they do work because they overthrow the power in place. The power,
but
whoever's in power in place. But then what replaces them? It was not working.
But that's the thing. That's why the revolution doesn't necessarily work. Because the intention of the revolution is to overtake and make it and improve.
Right. And maybe it does improve for a while.
But then it doesn't in the long run.
And it goes to shit.
Yeah, because
maybe that's just the cycle of humanity, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
but because a fucked up cycle.
Think about it. What if we do get to like a perfect fucking utopia? And then what? It's all fucking boring.
Look, man, I don't think I would get corrupted. I completely, like, I'm honest with you.
Well, that's why you will never get in power.
That's why. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What if there's actual people who wouldn't get corrupted and they just don't, because I don't see myself how I would live with myself being corrupted. I think I might get killed before I would get corrupted.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, I think I might, because I don't feel like I would be able to go, dude. Like, sometimes I make up, like, I say something that's like, maybe I didn't know the answer to something, dude. And then I say, like, oh, yeah, I think it was the answer. And then I'm all fucking day thinking about, damn, dude, I said that during second period. I don't even know if that's true or not. And I'm, like, living my whole fucking period, like, damn, dude, I might have lied then. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, dude, all day, just like, god damn. And then the next day, I'm like, guys, I said this. I had to go back and check, and it was right or it was wrong.
Yeah, but
I was like,
yeah, but there's not billions of dollars involved.
Yeah,
maybe your family's well-being is at risk. Yeah. You know, you're being threatened. You don't know what's going on behind those doors. You know,
that's why it has to be very specific people that need to be in charge. But that's all I gotta say today. I don't know. We gotta kind of go along.
But
revolution, no revolution. Just try your best, man.
Yeah, just don't be a dick.
That's how we ended out.
Stop canceling Disney people.
Yeah, Snow White or
Disney characters. Snow White, Black White.
Yes, no, it'll be Snow Black.
Snow Black. Oh yeah, Snow Black. Yeah.
Black Ice. What was that? Was that Key and Peele? He's like, black. Why is it gotta be black? What the fuck, dude? I was like, God, that shit's funny, man.
Yeah, dude. But dude. I mean, what's going on in Colombia right now? It's a revolution. You know, it's not a huge revolution yet, but if it gets momentum, it will become a big revolution, you know, and people are getting killed for it, but that's what ultimately happens. A revolution
that's messed up though, man.
But look,
revolution is gonna end.
No, hold on. I just thought about this. Revolutions in a way do work, because
tell me a revolution that has worked.
The American Revolution. See?
It has worked?
Yeah, look,
it has worked.
Technically, yeah.
Tell that to all the slaves.
Oh, wait, I mean, exactly where you look at it from.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the problem.
Well, for the how do you call it, for the
American Revolution,
overall wellness of humanity. Well, I mean, no, it hasn't. You know, but
that's exactly it.
I mean, the American Revolution was successful in overthrowing the fucking British Empire.
Well, yeah,
you know?
dude.
And then they got power, and they're like, all right, now we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want. You know,
it's like saying, I don't know. It's like saying, my strategy worked today because we won. It's like, well, yeah, dude, but that's not what I did. The intention is like I don't know, to win like the World Cup. It's like you won one game and you're like, well, the revolution worked.
Yeah.
I just won one game. It's like, no, bro, we're trying to win the World Cup. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing is like, yes, the revolution won in the sense of, worked in the sense of
But I think when
winning.
the revolutions are happening, they're doing it with the intent of getting a better life for whatever that means to those people.
To those people.
Yeah.
But only to those people.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's why they're going to. That's why they're willing to die for that cause.
That's the thing, though, too. Like, what if like there's a bunch of people that like in Colombia that are okay, and they're like, dude, why are you guys doing that to us?
And well,
that's the thing, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure there was a lot of Americans when the whole American Revolution was like, dude, you guys are crazy, man.
Yeah, man, just like relax.
Stop throwing tea around.
That's the thing, though, right? Because it's crazy, right? Because there's like people who are like cancel, and then there's people who are like, just calm down, man, just let her live.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean? It's like you know, and in every situation.
But there's the quote says revolutions only become revolutions when they're not successful. When they're successful, they become what is it?
A messed up country.
They turn into countries or something like that. But yeah.
Look, man, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Me neither, dude.
I think that...
I think what's going on in Colombia is fucked up.
I don't even know what's going on. We'll talk about it when we do our short...
this pretty... I mean, people are getting killed in Colombia by the police.
When we do our short episode next year.
Yeah. Also, what's going on in Brazil is fucked up.
Okay, listen.
Look it up. I'm just saying, look it up. You know,
let's talk about it. And when can you set up
during the week?
All right, we'll see you guys next year. This is our episode 1. Just kidding. No.
Episode 6, 5 or 6.
This is episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not too sure. Whatever episode it is. This was your favorite podcast, the Specifically Random Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Have a
and
good
if you're
week.
still listening to an hour and 51 of us talking, I don't know what you're doing with your life, man.
Dude. Go do
Have
some
a good
drugs.
one, everybody. Go do some legal and illegal. No, just do legal. Just do legal drugs. No,
just kidding. Don't do drugs.
Yeah. Do the legal ones if you want.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a good one.
Peace out.